Now,
So
right there, Kevin.
basically that's how it works.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. The tipping culture is a very American. It's a very American thing.
Correct.
There's this issue about tips, and one of the allegations that was made by the DC's Attorney General's office was Swahili Village DC required some servers and bartenders to turn over some or all of their tips, claiming they would be distributed to other workers. However, many other staff never received a share of the tips, and Swahili Village DC did not provide any notice or explanation of the tip sharing policy as DC law requires. Instead, hundreds of dollars these employees earned would disappear from each paycheck, and no explanation and no evidence that the tips were actually being shared with other workers. So this is coming from the DC Attorney General's office, and of course in the response that Swahili Village put up, they have also denied this allegation. But Kevin, maybe talk to us about the tipping policy for Swahili Village, because a lot of people, even just customers, there's a lot of conversations around tipping, not only in Swahili Village, but in a lot of restaurants and in America in general. Maybe talk to us about the tipping policy of Swahili Village. Let's say, for example, I have $100 meal and I tip the server $20 on my credit card. Where does that $20 go after I've signed the receipt? I want the server to receive $20. So I want to know where the $20 go. Does it go directly to the server's paycheck, or does it go to a shared fund to be distributed to everyone else?
On the shift.
On the shift. This is one thing that's not clear to those of us who just sign and give the tip on the credit card. And I'll also tell you, some servers sometimes will tell you, and I'm going to tell you because maybe they can't say, some servers will tell you that they prefer being tipped in cash. So why is that the case? And what happens to that $20 or $30 tip that I've signed on the receipt? Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a very good question, Ali, that I think we need to educate our listeners on.
Mm-hmm.
So different states pay a certain amount of money, or require for you to pay a certain amount of minimum wage to your server. Majority, actually almost all that I know, are below $5. Servers come to work for you, customer, not much of us employers. We keep that to give them, a base. But service in a restaurant is an ownership of the server who's taking care of you, to make sure that from the time you come in to the time you leave, you have a good guest experience. Are we together there so far? All right. We all know you cannot make a living off of $3.75, which, for instance, is the state of Maryland. So when you leave that tip is given to the
server who took care of you.
The server gets that tip.
100% of it.
No.
Okay.
In essence, yes, he gets, or she gets 100%
of the
but
tip.
the server is also being helped on the floor by food runner who will run her food. Now, there are hours that you do not need food runners, and you do not need bus boys, and you don't need that because you can do most of that yourself. When you do it yourself, you get it 100%. You understand? But there will be times when you're going to need the help in order for you to be able to be to offer that good experience to a guest. you will not be able to run your food. You'll not be able to bust your tables and then just clean up after you, because at this point the restaurant is very busy. Typically, most servers want to have a lot of tables, so that in their mind, with a lot of tables, I'm going to
You're gonna make
a
more
lot of money.
Yeah.
Which is a really bad thing. It's other thing for me. I charge my managers on bad training, something that we have eliminated quite a bit, because my wife used to wait tables. She would take a maximum of 3 tables in a small restaurant back then, maximum of 3.
Okay.
And blow their mind on service. Do you know people used to just throw money at her.
So quality of service.
Quality of service.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let's get back to our cultural experiences and who we are as Africans.
Mm-hmm.
I remember very well in our first location.
Mm-hmm.
You know how fast we went through service? And this was the problem we always have with African restaurants.
Mm.
In most African restaurants, if you went there, it's the mother, the daughter, the sister, the auntie, they're the ones serving, because they cannot keep servers. Why?
High turnover.
We don't have the culture of tipping. We have now just learned to actually tip. It's something that Swahili has done forcefully to our people, just because I decided I cannot do this.
So this is the mandatory tip.
So by forcefully, you mean
that's the 20% that I give.
The
there.
20%.
That 20% goes to the server.
Okay.
Then of that 20%, she now has responsibility to also serve the help that helps her through the shift.
Okay.
Yeah. And we encourage them to have that responsibility to pay them. So there are those who did not want to do this. You take 5% of that and you pay this. So they still keep 15%.
Okay.
By the way,
so is that done automatically?
I'm not obligated.
Yeah.
There's no law.
Okay.
I do this for our service.
Okay.
Because there were many times you saw many times Moshi was crying tears, served a table, and the ticket was $400, and these people gave her $5
for tip. Yeah.
For tip. She would be there for 2-3 hours working on this big table, and they went on and on and on, and they were crying. They were like, "We can't make a living off this." I said, "You know what? I'm going to have to do something. To start teaching our customers that these employees are their employees. They work for you. You must treat them as such." Now, you also know, if you, at any given time, you call me on bad service on a table, how do I punish my employees? You know that. You guys know. I will ask them, did you get good service? How was your service? How did Moshi make you feel today? No, we were not very happy. In front of her, I will take off the 20% and give it back to the customer.
Now,
So
right there, Kevin.
That's how it works.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. The tipping culture is a very American. It's a very American thing.
Correct.
And like you said, like it's something that we came to learn out here. Like for me, my personal feeling, like whenever I'm in a restaurant, and I get service that's subpar or that's below average, I will still tip. For me, from the date when I understood that this is the money that the servers like primarily rely on, like even after getting bad service, I would still tip. Maybe I would not tip 25%, maybe I might tip like 15%, something less than that. But then here's my other question, Kevin, because this tipping thing is one of those very confusing things especially to people who are not in the industry. Mm-hmm. If I come to Swahili Village, I called and I was like, I want mbuzi choma, ugali, and skuma. I'm coming to pick it up. Am I still obligated to pay the 20% automatic gratuity for a pickup?
No, actually, we that percentage goes down. But don't forget, this person that's doing this is a dedicated somebody. Their job is just to do this. He's a server. They are servers too, right?
Yeah.
So they still are not paid. They still make their minimum wage.
Yeah.
So at some point, I lose them if they feel like they're coming to work and they don't get
enough
Yeah.
tips.
Remember, that phone call comes, he has to make sure that order is taken correctly. He has to go to the kitchen and follow through, bring the food to you, and walk you to the car sometimes if you have to. If not, then your order is given to you. That's why we reduced it, and I think for our to go is 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.